Well, following last night's festivities, kids are sure to have some pillowcases full of candy this morning.
Did you take a pillowcase when you were trick-or-treating?
No, I always had a little basket.
See, the pillowcase you could hold
pumpkin.
more, so I did that. I'm glad to know I'm
smart.
not the only one. Hey, but hey, do you let them binge on that candy, parents, I'm talking to you, all weekend long? Do you parse it out piece by piece, or do you trade it with the Switch Witch, all right? Whichever you decide, the long-term answer is really about nutrition education, which builds lifelong skills for those kiddos. Dr. Julia Lyon-Ju, founder of Food Niche Ed, joins us now with more insight. Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. How does a basic grasp of nutrition science help a student understand why certain foods are more beneficial than others?
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, it's very, very important at a very, very early age to introduce children to the importance of food to their overall well-being, helping them understand why their choices matter. When they understand why, then they're more selective in their choices. They know that long-term, this will pay off. So they know, okay, I'm not just being told not to eat this, or not just being told to eat one particular food type or the other, but I understand why my choices matter. So that educational piece is very, very important. So they know and they're well informed about the choices they're making.
And you say that this nutrition education, it's not just about making those short-term choices better, it's about the long-term health effects, right? Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. So a lot of times when we think about food and health, most of the time people are thinking about now. Well, really, the choices we make today shape our health outcomes down the line. A lot of times, children build habits from a very young age, especially whatever their family culture, whatever their family disposition is. They build that habit on. And once they build that habit, it stays with them until, well, they make a very strong decision to change. But one of the key things we know is choices we make today shape our health outcomes several years down the line. And if we can make good choices today, or if we can teach children to make good choices right from a very young age, they grow up with it. And when they grow up with it, not only will they reap the benefit down the line, they get used to making those good choices as they grow older as well.
You know, when we mix science with food, nutrition, education, it can also improve critical thinking skills, which, helps with food advertising, packaging, and some health claims. Talk about how kids are constantly being bombarded with marketing that is promoting some of these unhealthy choices.
Yes, unfortunately today we have so many advertising campaigns that are targeting kids, promoting different products, of course, that children would love. But one of the important things is when we educate them, they can make intelligent choices, they can ask the right questions, and they can't be fooled by marketing or advertisements because they know better. They've been informed and they've been trained. So yes, we can't stop what companies would do. We can't shape what brands would do tomorrow. But one thing we can do is we can shape how it will affect the children by educating them from a very young age about the science behind what they eat and how it influences their outcomes. One thing about science is this: the more you expose children to it, the more they think about what they're seeing. Because science helps us to understand the world around us. Whether you want to talk about climate, or you want to talk about food and health, or you want to talk about what they see just going to the park every day, children can understand better the world around them when they understand science behind it. So helping them understand science, you enhance their critical thinking skills. They ask intelligent questions when marketers or when people around them try to influence them with wrong information. And then they can also counter misinformation. Why? Because they understand. So it's very critical that we help children to understand what we're recommending to them, not just informing them or telling them what to do, but help them understand why telling them to do what they're doing. Science can help with that.
Doctor, these kids they're going to class, they're learning about biology and chemistry and all of that environmental science that they're getting taught about the meals that we're eating. So how do these concepts kind of connect and make them more relevant and relatable to the kids as they're learning about it in school?
Yes, so when you think about biology, think about the human body. It's very, very simple for people to understand, for children in particular to understand, because it's something they deal with every day. For instance, they all eat. So if we bring in the concept of digestion and help them understand when you eat, digestion starts in your mouth. For instance, with carbohydrate, it starts in your mouth. And this is the process it goes through your digestive system. And this is what happens. Just simple concepts that they can see and they can easily relate with. You're doing two things. Number one, you're helping them learn more about their body. You're making whatever they're learning in class more applicable to them, because it's not just something abstract they're learning in class. It's not something they see around them, making it more relatable. But when you're thinking about chemistry and you're talking about food, like a citrus fruit, saying this is acidic, you're explaining what acid means to them, but at the same time, you're helping them to see that this tastes a little bit different. It might be sour to taste, but that's a part of the acidic component that we have in it. So you're bringing science, which ideally, if you do it in class, sometimes could be abstract. You're bringing it to everyday items they see around them. So chemistry, biology, or even environmental science, explaining why sustainability, why food choices will affect the environment. Our food production or dependence on animal protein could influence the environment, and also explaining why we have plant-based food today, because people are looking for alternatives to animal protein. So just explaining little things around them, things they see around them in a way they can understand. Number one, helps them to understand science more, because you're making it more applicable, more impactful, and more memorable for them as well. So science helps us to understand the world around us. And the more we bring that into the conversation, into everyday conversation, the more we enhance critical thinking skills for these children, and the more we help them embrace the world around them as well.
And here I thought all I had to do was worry about brushing my teeth after eating
Right, there's
candy.
a lot more that goes into it.
Dr. Julia Olaiyanju, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.